Hi, I am doing a review of Very Green. So I had one of my cans of this a couple weeks ago, and I didn't really like my review, and I'm still kind of sick, so I'm going to do a re-review. You haven't even seen my other one. It's 8.3% alcohol. This is the batch from April 17th, so this is 3 weeks old. Still very fresh, but I wanted to drink these before they got too old. I want to taste them at their peak. So Very Green, of course, just amped up, imperialized version of Treehouse's Green. And I assume they use lots of Galaxy hops in addition to American hops. Probably the same hops as in Green, but the only ones that I know for sure in here are Galaxy from Australia. So let's jump into it. When I had it last time, I thought it was like really awesome, intense flavor, but still very palatable and soft, as Treehouse usually is. And really great appearance there. Very nice head, and super duper hazy and dense looking, but no lack of carb or head retention here, because that's how it always is with Treehouse, unlike Trillium, where some of their more special super dry hopped beers have basically no head, and it's like a thin little head that dies down in 2 seconds, like Headroom and stuff. But they still know how to make it look really beautiful, like all their other beers. And it's very hazy, but not like getting grayish or brown or anything like that. It's nice bright orange color. And the aroma just isn't super duper explosive, but it's deep and dense. I get that fresh eucalyptusy Galaxy for sure, but I feel like this one's bigger on the tropical fruits. A lot of times Galaxy has a lot of green notes to it, but then it's mostly like kind of unripe tropical fruits that I get out of it, like papaya and guava and stuff. But this is smelling like they're very ripe. And it smells like orange juice too. All the ripe citrus and tropical fruits are going on in here. It's melony too. The head is looking great. We've got some lacing developing already. Pretty full on the tongue, but not quite as soft and fluffy as it usually is at Treehouse. It's more oily and intense of a hop bitterness, and just a hop oil and resin happening on there and on your tongue. It's a little bit thicker maybe than some other Treehouses. I don't know, maybe this recent Doppelganger batch seems a little bit thicker than this, but it gives you a lot more texture. Like, it's definitely more bitter than most Treehouse that I've had, but not too much. But a lot of Treehouse beers are like sometimes almost even too sweet for my palate, but that's really nice. But I don't know if it's like a million times better than Doppelganger, but it's really nice. I guess it feels a little bit velvety, but it doesn't just kind of sit on your tongue like fluffy creaminess like some Treehouse beers do. And it's a little bit more bitter, a little bit more green, almost minty on the palate. The eucalyptus isn't quite turning into like cough drop territory, which is what I noticed with some extremely Galaxy hop beers. And it's covering up some of the classic character I get from their yeast. It doesn't have as much like vanilla and tangy yeast flavors, probably just because it's so voluminously hopped. I might get more of their classic yeast in the nose. or like almost has like Hefeweizen characteristics, not quite banana or clove, but sweet sort of spicy things happening. And then it's really, really intensely hoppy flavor on the palate. It just overtakes my whole face. It fills it with a very, very green experience that is probably more than any other treehouse beer that I've experienced. I haven't had Very Hazy, I haven't had King Julius or Double Ganger. This is the only super rare one I've had, which actually this isn't super rare anymore. It seems like they're brewing this every month or two or something like that, maybe even more often than that. And it's really nice, and I like how it has this hop intensity that overtakes your face, but it's still really pleasant to drink. It's not too chalky or powdery or have too much of a medicinal thing or too much of some kind of a bite. It doesn't seem like it's over dry hopped where we're getting these sulfury notes from the hops that are overwhelming all the fruits. The thiols are what I think I've been experiencing in some over dry hop beers, where it's chalky and also the chalky minerally sulfury quality is overdoing it. It's because if you overdo the hops, use too much, then the thiol level will break the threshold of us being able to taste it and notice it, and it'll kind of cover up all those fruity flavors that come in addition to the thiols. Yeah. This is really nice. I feel like it's somewhere between sort of like Trillium and some of Toppling Goliath's more intensely hoppy beers, but not nearly as chalky, really palatable, and that's the hallmark of Treehouse, is they can make these really, really hoppy, awesome beers that are full of flavors, but make it so almost anyone can enjoy their IPAs, even people who don't like any other IPA on the planet, basically. Really pleasant. I guess it would be nice if it was a little bit more rich and thick and creamy on the tongue, but then it would probably just be too sweet. They'd have to make it too sweet, or they'd have to dial down the hops. But I think it's really great the way it is. Yeah, that's at least a 4 or 5. There's like nothing wrong with this, except for that lacking the fluffy, airy, light mouthfeel. But it's all right without that. Very nice. Probably 4.75, close to there. And yeah, plus points just for making it so pleasant and palatable. Goodbye.